Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Song of Tara. Our normal count-in person, Daniel, is having a pleasant evening with his girlfriend, and consequently, it has been left to another of our esteemed number to do the recording tonight. So if all of you listeners, those 20 of you who are out there, find that this is slightly choppy, then that is why, because we are working on a backup system until everyone gets used to this. Anyway, welcome back, guys. We are about to get back to Dublin and to some Werewolf. But we do need a recap first. And that means that we pass it directly over to our much beloved pot smoker of the group, the not quite yet venerable, but certainly verbose Gaillard of the group, Taliesin. Please, Chris, take it away.
Thank you, storyteller. Basically what happened last time, listeners and roleplayers alike, is that we were set to meet up with Darky Kelly in regards to meeting the mysterious Wyndham McAlpin, who was the next piece in the puzzle of working out who it was that killed our beloved Guru brethren a few nights ago. Only the women were allowed to actually meet physically with her because trust issues and misandry are apparently okay in this world. But some of us were on hand in the background to assist should the call come up. While they were talking with Darky Kelly, she became aware that someone was coming that meant ill to them. So they got winded down into the basement of the church, sealed it up, and the girls called in the rest of the team to assist in fighting. And then what came around the corner to fight us was a femoral, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
and a black spiral dancer, which, if anyone listening knows anything what that means, you can appreciate that it was quite a serious situation. We fought long and hard. There were many injuries. Our two playing female characters at the time did much damage to the femoral, even if it cost them a bit of damage themselves. Aaron, our resident Shadow Lord, took a truly spectacular blow from the Black Spiral Dancer, opening him up to a equally devastating blow, first from Taliesin, who successfully raked the guy's back and very much got his attention, and then secondly, and most importantly, from Connell, who proceeded to basically rearrange him in no short terms. Rolling, how many was it? Out of 14 die?
13 successes on 14 dice.
Which is practically unheard of. So, yes,
And the bloodshed was mighty.
Yes, at the end of it, Connell, as described by a storyteller, looked something like Carrie out of the film. Either version. And then, after that epic fight was over, we talked with Darky and Winder some more, only this time the men were actually allowed to be there because, well, it would have been a bit awkward to just send them away again. We then decided we had to get Winder to somewhere safe. It was decided, perhaps on the whim of the moment, that the safest place and the closest would be Taryn's apartment. And so we headed there, but when we got there, of course, Taryn's girlfriend, Fina, was also there. And at the time she was kinfolk, but she didn't know anything about the world of darkness, as it turns out. She just is like all of us. Unfortunately, because we all came around injured, and one of us having attended the rave from Blade, essentially, we had to do some explaining, and Taryn, being the well-meaning, if somewhat unsubtle soul that she is, basically came out and told her that we're, werewolves. Taliesin tried to do some damage control, only partially successfully because he's a storyteller rather than a negotiator, but she didn't panic. Fina didn't panic, which is good. Although she has a lot to think about and went to bed, probably with a headache. We called up Kat, our current sort of set leader. Got her over, talked about what happened, about the epic fight, and we were all congratulated for our parts and our fighting. Connell let slip that Taran and Tally had spilled the beans in front of an unknown individual, even if they were kinfolk, which is technically a very serious litany violation. And come the appropriate time, Tally and Taran will be held accountable. And we introduce Kat to Winder with some interesting revelation that is unknown to the rest of us, but revolves around Kat's use of the word Erebus. And
Yes.
that's about as far as we got.
Excellent. That is very true. Just to elaborate further on that final part, because obviously Fenna wasn't there last time. The person Fenna was, the player wasn't. That at the end of the conversation between the pack and Kat, Kat asked to please have the second part recited of the prophecy that Raven has spoken about the pack, and there was a mention in there of someone called she who has, how is it again? Let me just check it here for a second so I get the wording exactly right.
She now hiding.
Yeah, she who was lost and who now hides. And Taran correctly deduced that this person was in fact Winder McAlpin, who of course is now in the room with the rest of you. And when Kat heard this, and she had also been told that Kenneth McAlpin was the original Kenneth McAlpin from the 12th century or 13th century as it is, she put two and two together apparently, and the one word that she spoke just as we finished last time was Erebus. And that is where, as I said it last time, that is where we ended it. So yes, we are now back in Taran's apartment. Fina has gone to bed. She quite seriously needed to sleep this one off. And it's quite likely that poor Taran will be sleeping on the couch tonight. Other than that, the rest of you are, of course, there, present and accounted for. And so is Kat, and for that matter, Winder, who as we rejoin you, nods with the most innocent look on her face, as she looks a little bit, when Kat says Erebus, she looks a little bit like, yes, that's sort of obvious, isn't it? She doesn't say so because she doesn't speak English, at least not modern English, but she just nods, as if that's the most self-explanatory thing in the world.
Erebus?
Kat
says the looks of Cat.
Kat rubs her temples quite vigorously and blinks repeatedly, and she says that Erebus is an area in the deepest Umbra. It is a place of myth and legend where all sin can be burnt out of a Garou. It's a silver river, literally a river of silver in which we can drop. If we jump in, the silver will constantly burn us without killing us. It'll hurt as badly as silver always hurts. And if you stay in the river for long enough, all your sin will be burnt away. I had heard the most improbable and implausible tales that even Black Spiral dancers could be cleansed and purified by the silver river. I had never thought I would see it myself.
Well, that was a mention of silver water or river or something in the prophecy, wasn't there?
There was indeed.
So, from the prophecy, that suggests that Winder has been down there in that river until very recently.
It does indeed.
So, which sins are we talking about then?
Well, if she was in fact Kenneth McAlpin's daughter, and is Kenneth McAlpin's daughter, he's a Black Spiral dancer. She would have been initiated into their tribe, but she's not anymore. Any werewolf that gets spat out of Erebus doesn't have a tribe.
Ah.
Have we been taught, out of character, have we been taught the technical term for a non-affiliated Garou?
No.
Okay, so we wouldn't know what that is, okay.
Oh. Basically, she says she's free to choose her own tribe.
Interesting.
Impressive.
Well, provided that tribe will have her. Of course, that kind of goes without saying.
Well, I did promise her and Daki that I would act as a go-between if she wanted to talk with our pack. Not our pack, our sept.
Well, you mean with if Darkia wanted to?
No, if Winda wanted to join our sept.
Well, she can't run around the city on her own, for goodness sakes. Her father will find her.
Yeah, I just thought, it's something you ask before you just kind of bring her along.
True. But Erebus really doesn't leave any sin in the. Oh my goodness! The number of Guru who actually come out of Erebus, they are so rare. Most of us will go a life without seeing one.
Truly, we are. Well, I wouldn't say fortune, but we are privileged to be witness. Then
You are indeed. We all are. Of course, we have to teach her how to speak English. I mean, it's kind of, otherwise we're going to have communication issues.
Yeah, I can't. I've tried to see if I could establish at least some common ground, but it doesn't seem to work.
That does make sense. If she's if she's the original, she would speak a medieval kind of Scottish Gaelic. That wouldn't really translate to modern Irish Gaelic. But thanks for trying, at least. I appreciate the effort.
She will smiles and nods.
Kat looks absolutely flabbergasted at this whole thing, and she does sit down and look at Winda very intently. Winda smiles, sort of apologetic, innocent half smile, like, I'm sorry to be any trouble, guys. Ish. But Kat gestures for her to take a seat, and Winda, well, she does, and then Kat looks to the rest of you and says, "This is completely unexpected, obviously, and so short a time after all these upheavals. I have to talk to Raven because I can't bring her to the Sept and to the cairn. I want to right now, but I can't do that anymore as Sept Alpha, not without having spoken to Raven first."
Why not?
Because if there is even the slightest chance that this is some kind of elaborate hoax, I might be leading the enemy right to our doorstep. And let's face it, we just lost half of our number. I just got told that they have been under attack again out at Tara. They have wounded. They don't have any dead, but they have wounded out there. They're still fighting, and I've offered to come to their help, and I've been told by Ross to stay where the hell I am, because quite frankly, if we leave Dublin unattended, that will fall instead, he says. So that doesn't just one more thing, she says, just to make things even more complicated. We found Mikhail earlier tonight knocked out.
Uh-oh.
Literally, he had his lights punched out by a leech.
What?
Who then left him alive.
That sounds like a message.
Apparently so, but the guy in question, Mikhail says he spoke in a sort of German-ish, sort of a Swiss, I think he said Swiss accent. Apparently he knows someone from there. And he said that the leech left him a message along the lines of, "Do not get in the way of the hand that rocks the cradle. It is in your own best interest," or something to that effect, which means I'm right now trying to tend to a disturbed Ukrainian who's just had his face punched in. It's healed, but you can understand why Mikhail might be a little worried. He's kind of concerned about his good looks. I've got to deal with that. We've got an attack going on at Tara, and you guys are still looking for the killer of our friends, and now we have this young lady who may be one of maybe a handful of Garou in the world at any given time who have survived Erebus and come out of there. And her father wants her back, or wants her dead, or wants something to do with her. But that means that her father is still alive, and if you guys hadn't thought this through to the end, that means that we've got a, 800-year-old Black Spiral Dancer running around Dublin.
That was the conclusion I came to, and it's not exactly a comforting prospect.
I'm sure... sorry, go on.
Would that mean he's also been... I don't know that much about the Deep Umbra, so is that staying alive way too long at an Erebus thing, or...
The Deep Umbra means that time passes differently. But it is also a place where you lose yourself. It is not reality. As the mortal part of us, the human part of our brains can't function forever and ever and ever in the Deep Umbra. Time passes differently down there, and when we come out, an hour may have passed and it could have felt like 3 years for us down there, or vice versa. It's not even always something you can predict in advance. It's not that we can say, oh yes, you go to Erebus and time passes more slowly. It's just not necessarily like that, but I can say he hasn't been to Erebus. No Black Spiral Dancer goes in there and comes out as a Black Spiral Dancer. That's the whole point of the place. If you have committed some grievous, horrible sin against Gaia, something truly, truly horrible. Let's say, like, she looks around at all of you with a sort of strange face. Let's just say that you went and fell in love with a fellow werewolf and went to bed with that person, and a matis ensued. Then, well, let's just say you did it without a matis ensuing. That's still a sin. You might go and spend a few years in Erebus and have that burnt out of you, and by the time you get out of there, you wouldn't be held accountable for it anymore, but you would spend a few years in absolute silver-induced agony every single second of every single day.
If it's a few years for the sin of mating with your own, how many years would it be for the sin of being a Black Spiral Dancer?
Oh, she says and looks across the room at Winda. I'd say about 800 in her case. Some of them would probably be a lot longer. I guess that depends on how much shit you've done.
Well, if I interpreted her actions after the fight correctly, she knew the Black Spiral Dancer.
The one that you fought and killed?
Yep. Family, as I understood from Dr. Kelly. So they kind of put her here.
Well, what do you know what she said about him, or was she sorry that you killed him, or?
No, she wasn't sorry we killed him, but she was sorry of what he had become, because he was once a man.
Oh. She looks intently at Winda, and you can see that slight blue flickering around her fingers that kind of indicate that she's just used some of the spiritual energy she stores, some of the gnosis that she keeps. You've seen her do this before when she's invoked Raven, for example. And she looks at Winda. Winda just smiles, sits there unaffected and with a friendly and mildly interested but non-comprehending expression on her face, because obviously everything you guys say is blah 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 to her. Kind
of sitting like a puppy dog.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what they're talking about. It sounds nice.
So, once in a while she hears a word like Erebus or Gaia, but that's about it.
And that's about it. But she does react to those words and nods and smiles and shows that, yes, I understood that, but that's about all she can do.
Yay! I understood a word!
Yay.
Yay!
The cat blinks again, and there is absolutely no taint whatsoever in her. None. There's less taint in her than there's in any of us in this room.
Wow.
Oh my, she's even had the inherent sins of being a werewolf burned away.
The whole background ick of being alive in this day and age, Kat says, where you eat junk food and you wear clothes that are made with bleaching chemicals and fuck knows what else, she says. That there's a little bit of it rubs off on you all the time. There's always a little bit of taint in all of us. There is literally nothing in her. I'm looking at a blank slate.
She hasn't been here long, then.
Yes, Taliesin, knowing that she doesn't actually understand a word he's saying, just looks to her and says, "Congratulations, you're the purest soul here within 100-mile radius."
Winda smiles because somebody's talking to her.
Taryn just says in yeah, yay, religion, she's Jesus.
But, so back to our enemies, I assume.
Well, yeah.
So what you're saying is that if we are going to, and I assume we are, if we're going to find and hopefully kill this Kenneth, he might have no humanity left in him at all.
There will be nothing left of the man he once was. There will be only a monster. But
intelligent or bestial?
Very intelligent in all likelihood. Black Spiral Dancers are monsters, but they are very clever monsters, usually. But what I want you all to realize or to remember one thing. She said, I did not necessarily tell you to find Kenneth McAlpin and finish him off. If he's the one who killed our friends, then yes. I told you to find the ones who had killed our friends and finish them. We know that Kenneth McAlpin was probably involved in this. We know that he, as I understand it, was probably in the apartment. We don't know if he was actually the one who did the killing.
Or if he ordered someone to do it.
Exactly.
That still makes him responsible, though.
Exactly.
It absolutely does. But by the wording of your rite of passage, she says, I am not going to ask you to go up against an 800-year-old Black Spiral Dancer as part of your rite of passage if you do not absolutely have to. And my tribe mates would probably skin me for saying so, but I cannot afford to throw away you six. There are not enough of us in Dublin right now, and I need you guys to stay alive.
Well, thank you for your pragmatism.
I had a question that was kind of unrelated, Kat.
Yes.
Because I'm hearing about the terrorists being attacked, but we have countless of enemies.
You're falling out all the time. Sorry. Try again.
In and out. It's like you're trying to have sex.
Oh my god.
Sound.
I'm just sitting here talking normally.
I know, but try again. You said something. Let's get the question from the top again.
I keep hearing about the Terra being attacked, but we have countless of enemies. Who's attacking this time?
That's a good question. Obviously, she says what I hear from them, and of course, this is a matter of them sending me like a text message or something, or a brief phone call. But they're saying that they are that the perimeter of the cairn is constantly being probed by Banes. So we are talking about the direct agents of the worm.
Mm.
And they are saying that some of the Banes, that mostly they're just, riffraff and not terribly powerful. But Ross says that there is something powerful behind them, and he doesn't exactly know what it is.
It's all... Something has come together spectacularly for our enemy in the last few nights.
Yes.
Members of us are dead. We've split our forces in half. We've got invisible barriers surrounding Dublin and the area. We've got, and now the McAlpins.
The McAlpins and the leeches have something going on. Apparently, if you look into what happened to Mikhail, but she says, right now my concern is with the cairn and with the sept. You are part of my sept. While you may still be cubs, I sincerely hope that is about to change. And I really want you guys to succeed, because having you six help me out at the Raven's Eye is going to be, in my opinion, the difference between holding down the fort or losing both the Raven's Eye and Tara. I cannot afford to lose you. I cannot afford to do things the way that our tribe, she says, and looks at Fenna and at Connell. I cannot afford to do things the way we would normally do it, because that would lead to you six probably dying at the claws of probably the most powerful werewolf in Ireland at the moment. You're not ready for him. And unless you have no other choice, I do not want you guys to attack him. That is a direct order. I would much rather that you found out where he was and brought news of that to me and to the rest of us in the set, so we can marshal our forces against him.
Well, that's fine. I personally would agree with that.
No reckless actions.
No reckless actions, please. I want you alive.
Believe me, we want us alive.
Sheba nods emphatically.
It's very simple, she says. She rubs her face, and she does look tired. Probably
Karen
for
goes
good
to
reason.
the kitchen and starts making coffee.
It's very simple. You all know I've wanted this. I've wanted to be in the position I am in now for a very long time. I've never wanted that out of malice towards Ross. I think Ross is an idiot. He says, I also think he's a very, very nice idiot. I think he's a very, very well qualified idiot. But I think the problem with Ross is he's not willing to do things in a new and different way.
Yeah.
He meant well, he means well, but he's a traditionalist in most respects. Not as badly as his brother, but still, he's a traditionalist. Siobhan is a traditionalist, God's help us. I'm not. As opposed to, she says, she looks at all of you, okay. Listen, I want us, all of us, not just you, but all of us, the Guru in Dublin, the Guru in Ireland, the Guru in Europe, the Guru in the feckin' world. So she says, I want us to win. And I want us to still be alive at the end of it, if it is at all possible. I think it's pretty obvious to everyone that unless we start changing some things, that isn't happening. Ross wasn't changing anything.
No.
Now you may understand why it was so important to me that I took over. I'm Godi, or Gidja, as we would call it, since I'm female, she says. The rest of you would call it a thurge. No Get of Fenris in the old country would accept one of my auspice as alpha. The thought is unthinkable. It would be... No, it just wouldn't happen. It would always be a Modi and a Rune who would run the sets. Always.
How come?
Because my tribe is primarily a warrior tribe. We fight and we fight better than any other Guru tribe out there. There's just no debating that. We are the best warriors we have. Just once in a while, just once in a very rare while, even a warrior may need someone who's wise enough to hold him back and say, hold it. Wait 5 minutes before you launch your attack, and wait until the enemy overstretches himself, and then launch an attack, and then sever the arm or the limb or the head and win.
But that sounds like a normal war strategy in
Yes.
all.
Yes.
Karen starts handing out coffee cups.
It is perhaps quite the irony, isn't it?
Yes.
That warriors win battles and leaders win wars.
Yes. Tally, yes. You get it. Excellent. Well put, by the way. Good. Yes. She takes the coffee and downs an entire mug in one long gulp, then holds out the mug to have a refill.
I'm actually
Blinks
surprised.
and refills it.
Yes, Shiva, please. What did you want to say?
I'm actually surprised that strategy doesn't seem to be as big a part of the warrior culture.
I would say that depends on the tribe, but not some get a Fenris, yes, but mostly we are the biggest, strongest, the baddest, the most dangerous, and that usually carries through. We can get a very, very long way on brute force alone.
It doesn't mean you can't be smart on top of it.
Exactly. And some get a Fenris are, and they are the most successful of our kind. Look, I'm a woman, and I'm an elder. That in itself is unlikely to happen in Scandinavia. I would have not been allowed to even challenge for the rank in some of the sets back there. They're ultra-conservative. They don't want change.
Why does I don't want change seem to be a big part of Guru Nation in the first place?
I don't know. She says, well, I think part of it has to do with the fact that because we are losing, and we are losing at the moment, she said, because we are getting our ass handed to us, people don't want to people are so busy trying to fend off disaster that making big and sweeping changes seems impossible to do, because where is the time and the peace of mind to do it? But now let's assume for a second that we then manage to beat off this challenge, this danger, this threat. Then there are going to be a lot of people who say, yes, we did that because we held to the old ways and we didn't change and we stayed true to what we've always done. And then no change would happen.
But if you're losing, isn't it normal to stand back and rethink your strategy? I mean, come on.
If you have time,
if you're losing
yes.
a battle in
Yes.
the business, you change your strategy and win.
Yes, if you have time. You're thinking like an army here, but we can't fight a normal war.
In conclusion, Obama would have never won an election amongst the Guru.
No,
Huh?
he never would have.
Oh.
Cat smiles and says, I think we should be glad that the Guru aren't the only ones with votes in that case. But that said, I want, she says, and she looks at all of you, I want you six to stay alive. I want you to succeed. Because, she says, and looks at each of you in turn, very, tries to catch your eyes and hold them. Because you represent something new. You're the first I've heard of where we get 6 new cubs, a whole pack in 1 year. Normally you get 1 or 2 every year or every second year that somebody's discovered, blah, blah, blah. And then when they are trained and they have passed their rite of passage, providing they even survive that, then they are swallowed up into an existing pack, and they are the youngest and most junior member, and they're probably going to be pack Omega for a while, and bullshit. You guys have the opportunity to go out there and set a whole new standard. You're one whole pack. You will shape your own fate. Even if Raven says a whole lot of things about your fate, it's still ultimately in your hands. You can do so much good. I want to see that happen. The set needs it. The cairn needs it. We need it.
Well, I initially was drawn to you because you seemed like a symbol for change. It's good to have that reaffirmed. And believe me, I have far too many things to go around dying now. Far too many things to do.
Good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. And for what it's worth, she says and looks at Aaron, who has now passed out asleep on the couch. And she says and looks towards him. I know that he's probably not the only one of you who has reason to doubt me. I'm right now. I'm not sitting here as Alpha. I'm just sitting here as Cat. I don't want this to fail. We have a chance here. You have a chance here to prove that there is another way. I have a chance to prove that things don't have to be the way they've always been. And we have a chance to prove that we can win.
Yes.
Instead of fighting to hold off the inevitable disaster, wouldn't it be better to fight to win?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's hard to disagree.
As long as you work towards that ideal, you'll have my full support, Cat.
Oh, I promise I will. And thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cat look very tired?
She looks like she could probably fall over sideways on the couch and sleep for a week.
So she might say she's sitting there as Cat, but she looks like a panda.
Yeah, she does. I was just about to say she's got the biggest case of panda eyes on her face ever.
With all due respect, and considering you said we can speak to you as Cat,
Yes, you can.
you look like you're about to keel over.
I could probably do with a bit of rest, but there's so much stuff to do.
Isn't that what delegation is for?
I suppose you're right. Although, if we are being fair about this, if I am to delegate to anyone right now, what would you like me to do? Call Eric and tell him to please go make nicey nice with the leeches?
Well,
He tries to make nicey nice with the leeches. He's gonna make mincemeat all over the ground with them.
Yes, he probably is.
well, yes. If it weren't for the fact that everyone in Dublin would see and hear about it, it could be a win-win because either he successfully decimates all the leeches in Temple Bar, or I don't know.
Or we are suddenly fighting for the two sides at once.
I want you all to do me a favor, she says.
Yeah.
If I can ask that of you. I'll write a message here for Joseph for Snickering Sneaker. I need you to take that message to him. Can you do that for me?
No problem. I know where he usually is.
Good. Yeah, I know you guys are close.
Yes.
Sharon just smiles.
She takes out a note and she scribbles it down and smiles and says, "This would have been so much easier if the man hadn't actually been a bone gnawer. He might have owned a cell phone. I could have just texted him."
I tried giving him one, but he just looks at it questioningly with, "What the hell am I going to do with this?"
Yeah, exactly. And then I tried giving him one once, and then he sold it and fed his fellow tribesmates for a week.
Yeah.
So he's a good guy, but he's not always practical. But he is a good guy,
Yep.
and I need you guys to take this to him. She says and holds up a piece of paper. I'm making him my beta.
I'm
That's
not
very.
sure if he's gonna survive that.
Eric will.
takes the-
Yes, Eric will disembowel him. You do realize that, don't you?
Eric will do what the fuck I tell Eric to do.
I hope so.
He will. Listen, guys. Whatever else you may think, Eric and I are at on each other's case all the time, bickering and arguing and so on. I like Eric. He's a nice guy. He's got no control because of his rage. That's strictly speaking. That's what Gaia wanted him to be. But Eric has my back every step of the way. He wants me to succeed. Yeah. And I value his help. He lost everything to support me. He could have been Alpha of a Sept today in Sweden if he hadn't chosen to stand by me instead. He has more honor than any man I know. That's a long story, and I'll tell it another time, she said. Right now, I'm bone tired, and I'm rambling, and I'm sorry for that, because I should not waste your time. You have a job to do. Well, 2 jobs right now. Find Joseph and give him that piece of paper, and then find the asshole who killed our friends, rip him an assortment of new bodily orifices, and bring me the desiccated remains. And once you've done so, I will consider it your rite of passage completed.
We still have a few more leads we can chase, so
good.
We will be busy.
Tell me what the first one is, just in case I might have something to add.
Oh, good. Well, aside from a couple of the other unquiet dead that might have some hearsay,
good.
One of the largest ones we mentioned was what's their name? Sandy Van Hartigan, one of the leeches.
Right. She's the one who runs that gay bar, isn't she?
Yes.
So she runs the dragon?
Yeah, the dragon.
As long as we don't get on her bad side, then she should be able to provide us with some information.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're going to go talk to Sandy, and I'm not hearing that you are going to go and talk to Sandy, because obviously I can't, because, you know...
No, of course not.
So I am, in fact, not aware that you are now going to talk to Sandy, and once you go and talk to her without my knowledge... please make sure that the Black Furies don't know that you've spoken to her. They don't like her. They don't like the leeches in general.
I consider myself a man who doesn't like to judge people based on decisions or anything. I don't consider myself someone who wants to give anyone a bad rep just because of who they are. But in this situation, the Black Furies can fuck off.
Good one. By the way, when you are talking, if you're going to go talk to Sandy anyway, she says...
which we aren't.
Which of course you aren't, but if you are going to go and talk to Sandy anyway, could you kindly drop a hint about this whole the hand that rocks the cradle bullshit that got Mikhail knocked out? Because I don't like leeches who are capable of punching out one of ours with one good left hook.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of noted that down to ask her, yes.
Thank you, Taryn. Very, very, very... I appreciate it. Excellent. And
so,
on that,
I'm not going to talk with her.
Yeah,
I'm a bit confused, boss.
Yes, do so.
Are we or are we not going to talk to this Sandy person?
It's very simple, Conrad. We are officially we are not going to talk to her because she is the enemy. Unofficially, without anyone important or with a grudge knowing about it, we are in fact going to go and see her. And then not tell anyone about it, because if we do, we'll be killed horribly.
In fact, says Kat and smiles wearily. If you all don't mind, I should go. Is there a place I can crash, Taryn?
Of course, there's the guest room, and I weren't gonna let you go out because I'm afraid you're just gonna stumble down the stairs and sleep in front of the door.
Something like that. If I go and crash there, then you guys can talk about the vampires you most assuredly are not going to go and talk to or something. And then she heads into the guest room and...
Cat?
Yeah.
Before you crash...
Yes?
If we're going to leave, I don't know, can you set up some wards or something? Since I assume we're letting Winda stay here.
Don't worry. That's why. If you guys hand that note over to
Joe.
to Joseph, I'm not leaving this place until he has sent me some reinforcement. Just tell him that he needs to send someone he trusts to not overreact, and then they can take over guarding Winda, and I will go back to the Sept then. Until then, I stay here, and she's safe as long as I'm alive.
Alright.
Also
Stay
take
alive.
care of Aaron, because I'm not sure he's gonna wake up tonight.
No, I'll look after Aaron as well, even if he's probably...
And if he starts drooling, please put a bucket under him. I don't want drool on my carpet.
Oh God, yes, please. I'm going to tell him you said that.
Who knows, Cat? If you put a blanket over him and gently stroke his hair, he might even start to like you.
I'm going to go to bed, she says, and closes the door.
Yeah, just go. Bye. Okay, so message
Winda
first.
looks very confused at all of you.
Okay.
Winda smiles at her.
So there's one other thing I have to say. This has been one long, confusing talk.
Yeah.
Junk food. Is that really a sin?
That's the first thing they teach you in primary schools. It's the
What?
greatest sin in the world, eating junk food.
Really?
Makes you fat and brain dead, and it rots your teeth. And it's terrible.
I'm neither fat nor brain dead.
How much junk food do you eat?
Lots.
Well, that's counteracted by the fact that you also do a lot of exercise and you kill lots of things.
I'm not
That's
so
true.
sure about the brain dead part.
Oi, you.
Class.
Yeah, Colonel, maybe you should stop with the junk food for a while.
If it's a sin, sure. I'll also go naked. Because apparently if you wear clothes, that's a sin. This is confusing.
She will get the funny look on her face,
Health
but it doesn't come.
Oh my God, I love that guy. That character is the best fucking thing ever.
What is Shiva trying to say?
Shiva gets a funny look on her face, but she doesn't comment.
Yes, and Taliesin then shakes his head at the situation and says, "And this is why I don't go in for organised religion."
Oh my
Not
God.
religion. Where?
I'm sorry, but this is seriously funny shit.
This is good.
Yes.
I think at this point, Taliesin looks to Winda,
Yes.
and he points to her,
Yes.
and then he indicates the room,
Yes.
and then points down at the ground as if to say, he's trying to say, "You stay here,"
She seems to understand.
and then points to himself and the others, and points to the door to state they're going out, and then he kind of waves in the direction Cat was,
Yes.
holds his sort of arms up in a sort of his fists up in a kind of fighting gesture, as if to say, "We'll fight,"
Yes.
and then points, indicates around the place again, trying to say she will fight to keep this place safe.
Winda seems to think about that for a while and then says, or she says a few words, again, obviously just nonsensical stuff to the rest of you. But then she does this whole, like she puts the palms of her hands together and puts them on the side of her head like a pillow, points towards where Cat went, and then she goes and picks up a blanket and looks towards you guys and points towards the door.
Oh, Taryn finds a pillow for her and then nods.
She goes and gets some sleep.
That's good. As long as she doesn't just sleep, as long as she doesn't sleep in the same place as Cat, because if Cat just wakes up and finds Winter cuddling up to her, that's going to be awkward.
No, I mean she's in the same room, but yeah.
Okay, that's good. But as long as she understands she needs to stay there.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
I kind of like, he kind of indicated, "You stay here, we have guard dog, bye-bye."
But yes, until we can find a way to communicate with words, gestures, and with Taliesin being sort of the most having acting skills with a Z, I felt he should try and employ that and gesticulate for her.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are in fact leaving?
Yep.
Yes.
What are you doing first?
Taryn is heading for the place Joseph normally sleeps.
Yes, that would make that would actually be not too far away. He is. Let me just find it. You are on the south side of Dublin, obviously, and you are. Yeah. Okay. I'm moving you over to the correct map. There you go.
Pling.
Ping. And
Pling burp.
I am now going to ping a place here.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, kabling. Up here is what is called Houston Station. It is a large train station that was built for the only time Queen Victoria visited Ireland, because of course Her Madge had to move around in style.
Don't say match, it sounds too much like that.
Yes.
I think that's kind of the point in this case.
The badge had to travel around in style.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Now
match badge.
just imagine a giant toothed vagina on a wheelchair thingy.
Going
He rolled around.
used.
To the audience, if you've been affected by any of the events that occurred in this particular episode of our beloved story, why not keep them to yourself?
Anyway, he normally sleeps there. It's not nowadays. It's not as large a train station or as active a train station as it has been in the past. There are several of the lines that are basically overgrown with old decrepit trains that have been just left there, basically. And Joseph normally sleeps in one of those.
Taryn goes around to the train car he usually goes into.
Yep, you can smell that he's cooking.
Yeah.
Foul as always.
Yeah, but it can be eaten. I'm pretty sure she's tried it at some time, thinking she was gonna die, but it could actually be eaten.
Thing really, but it could be eaten. It was a little bland, but yeah.
Yo, knock knock.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
come on in. I have the food ready. Are you
Awesome.
hungry?
no thanks. I think I had enough flames for tonight.
Oh.
She hands a note to him, and she is still hurt.
Do you? Oh, I thought you meant hot food. What happened to you?
I
Oh dear. Oh,
Ugh.
Gaia, please.
I bit a burning lady. Okay, it's twice I've done that now. I know.
You need to stop doing that. If it is once, it is an accident. If it is twice, it's a habit. Please do not bite burning women.
It's not my fault. They keep flaming up when I try to bite them.
Well,
Strictly
maybe-
speaking, the first one was a guy, I think.
The
But,
first one was a guy, I know, but you flamed too, and
I think we're getting off the topic a little bit here. Look,
yeah, here.
we
That's me a note.
we fought an epic battle for the ages. We've seen Kat about it. Things have happened.
Good.
She's asked us to pass this note on to you.
Okay. He takes a look at the note. He then looks at all of you. Then he reads the note again.
And Talius is nodding as if to say, yes, it does actually say that.
Then he slowly crumbles up the note and puts it in the food.
Good way to dispose the evidence.
Very, very funny, kids. Very funny. I am much amused. And yes, ragabashes and all that. I get the joke.
Oh, for goodness, no.
He is completely serious.
She gave us that note. We did not
She
make
must-
this up.
Did you beat her over the head?
No.
No, she was
Did
tired at
somebody
the
else beat
time.
her over the head?
She was very tired, but that didn't affect her decision.
You do realize that she's just made me number 2 in the Raven's Icept, and I am a Bonor.
Yes, you're a Bonora. You are... Sorry, long accent. You're a Bonora, you're Polish, and people consider you a bit of a git. But yes, you are her number 2 now.
Yep.
Congratulations.
And your smiles.
I don't know whether I should kick her ass or... I don't know whether I should kick her ass or kiss her.
Why not both?
Why not both?
I,
Yeah.
Compromise.
kiss
her
ass.
I think if I kiss her, she's probably going to try to run away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then kick her first, and then kiss her.
I am a
Then
ragabash.
you will-
I'm a
Kick her.
ragabash. I am not a leader.
She's a Thurge. The Get Fenris wouldn't let her be a leader, and yet here she is. She clearly sees something in you.
Yes, I'm sure she does, and so does everybody else.
Not like that.
Oh, okay. Well, how am I to know? Are he
Fireplace.
stirs the food in the pot, and the paper dissolves and becomes part of the edible mush. This is wow.
Perhaps you should have kept your promotion papers.
No. I'm no longer hungry. If you want to eat, then go ahead. I'm. Fuck.
Yeah, take a moment.
All right. I should probably go to the Septs right away. The others are never going to believe this because now I've just basically turned my promotion into food.
Well, that was your prerogative. Look, Kat is, well, she's sleeping, but she's with us. She'll confirm it. Well, she's back. Yeah, she'll confirm it when she appears again.
And by that, she asked me to ask you to send someone to save a girl who's been in the Silver River and is no longer a black spiral dancer. So it can protect her while she goes to the Sept again. But could you wait a couple of hours because you look like a panda?
Taryn, I love you dearly, girl, and I'm going to ask you very, very, very nicely. Please stop smoking what your girlfriend hands you.
No, that's actually true.
We have had a very, very strange night, Joseph. We really have.
Actually, I could do with some food. I don't think I've eaten in a while.
You go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
She looks around for a
I've been
bowl.
smoking. Thank you very much. No.
What did you say, Rasmus?
Sheila looks around for something to eat out of.
Well, he's got the bowl, and he's got like a little pair of clippers that he puts on the side of it so he can lift it off directly, and then he looks around for something resembling a clean spoon, finds one, and hands it to you.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I think she asked you to send someone who wouldn't be overwhelmed easily.
I will go and find a few people right away. Taryn, do you mind if I send some of my own, some of the other Bonors? I am only asking because they will stink up the place.
Taryn shakes her head.
You are a good friend. Thank you. I will go and take care of this. And if I can find Eric and he's not in the detention cells, I will send him as well.
Taryn?
On that note, my girlfriend is kind of sleeping there.
Oh,
So
I am not
if
sending
they can
him.
stay out of the...
I am not sending Eric. He's noisy. I'm not sending Eric.
I was about to
maybe
suggest
not go into the bedroom.
Well, it's not a matter of whether he's in the bedroom or not. He's just noisy.
I know.
So, yes. Good Gaia, preserve me. This is not what I had expected when I got up.
Speaking of Joe, have you by any chance found Trish's dog after all this happened?
Found who? What?
Trish's dog.
Trish's dog? No, I don't actually. I haven't. I know that Matthew is looking.
Oh, good.
I know Matthew is looking, and if that we will find the dog if he's still alive. We will find him.
Good.
All right, I'd better get going. There's much to be done.
Do you think Rasmus is trying to speak?
Yeah, twice you talked over him.
Sorry.
But he's very low tonight. I have no idea why.
Rasmus is shaking his head.
Well, I'm not trying to speak right now. I have been spoken over.
Oh, what did you... Well, you're breaking up again. It's really odd.
That's probably why then.
Yes, I think
Well,
so.
I heard it.
Anything important.
Okay, I can hear you now. So what did you want to say?
I was going to suggest to Taryn that she remembered that her girlfriend was also there, but she did, so there's no...
Okay, excellent.
Oh, okay. Sorry, though.
Well,
I could barely hear you.
Yeah.
It happens.
I'll try
guys.
shouting.
well, so Shima was going to actually eat that food, right?
Yeah.
So Fenna just she looks very suspiciously at the food. And then
Taryn looks at Fenna.
and then whispers to Shiva, "If you don't survive this, can I have your clothes?"
Taryn eyes both of them like, You know that can't be eaten, right?
I think she will look up at Finna and says, if you promise to not rip holes in all of it,
What will you care if you're dead anyway?
I will haunt you.
That is a thing.
Try not to die.
All right. Well, you eat it.
Yes,
It is
bland. I assume.
bland, but definitely edible and nourishing.
I think she will comment that it could use some salt.
Yes. The problem, of course, is that if you add salt to it, it's just absorbed into the mush and becomes bland.
That's so
She
true.
doesn't know that.
I think Taliesin takes one look at it and just says, "You could sell that stuff to the army and make a killing." Almost literally.
Very funny.
So, we're coming up on 1 hour of play.
Yep.
And it might be a good place to take that first break.
I think you're right. Let's do that.
Cool. We'll be right back.